Hi spiritual babes, welcome back to my channel. My name is Primrose. I am so happy to have each and every one of you here. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at Wiccan altars, and this is kind of the next video in my series called How to Wicca. So it's just a couple of informational videos of things that I have learned along the way that are going to be useful to new people that are looking to get into Wicca and spirituality. So there we are. So as mentioned in this video, I'm going to be talking all about Wiccan altars. I'm going to be looking at how to set up an altar as well. So for those of you that don't know, I recently moved house and it is the perfect time because I have to start my altar from scratch. So let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, so what is a Wiccan altar? You might be questioning, especially if you're just starting on this path, what is an altar? Do I have to have one? How is it supposed to look? How am I supposed to do this? Don't panic. So a Wiccan altar is essentially a ritual workspace. It is a place where you give worship and offerings to a god or goddess, or if you worship specific deities, then that is where you would worship them instead. If you do want to know more about the god and goddess, then you can go up here and watch this video that I created, which gives information all about them. So on the altar, the god, goddess, or the deity that you choose will be represented throughout specific items that specifically correspond with them, and in worshipping them, you will connect with them, you will build this relationship, and they will assist you in your craft. So essentially it is the gateway, it is the doorway to connecting with the god and the goddess and practicing your craft. It is the space that you will conduct spell work, and so the altar will include all of the necessary tools that you need to be able to do that. Now I want to highly stress that you don't have to worry about making your altar perfect. You don't have to worry about making it look a certain way. The way that you feel about your altar and the way that you connect with it is so much more important than someone saying that this is how it should look, this is how it should be, because you have to use this altar. It's like being able to connect with tarot cards. If you don't enjoy it, if you don't like the imagery, if you can't connect with it, then it's not going to work for you. Exactly the same for the altar. If you have a deep connection with your altar, you are in love with how it looks, it is set up completely to you and your personality, then you're going to be thriving in your craft. So please just try and follow your heart when it comes to setting up your altar. Try and follow what your intuition is saying and the way that things should be. So the altar itself doesn't necessarily need to be anything fancy. You don't even need an altar to start with on your craft. So I'm thinking about doing a video on showing you guys how to make a travel altar. Even if it's something that you set up temporarily and then take back down again, that is fine. If you move it around, that's fine. This is all fine within the craft. You don't have to be constricted and feel like you have to play by such and such rules that were set out by such and such person. You don't. You are free to create and enjoy this path, whatever suits you best. So if you don't feel like a permanent altar is right for you, maybe you only set up an altar when you want to do spell work and you want to connect like that, then that is fine. Or if you don't have space for an altar, don't worry. So my last altar was actually on my bedroom floor. I'm sure you have seen videos of it, and all it was a drawer out of an old set of drawers, and that was thrown out. So I kept one of the drawers, I flipped it upside down, and it made this perfect tabletop for my altar, and then I just put fabric over the top, and that was it. So feel free to use whatever is easily accessible and available to you. Don't have to worry about getting a fancy tabletop or anything like that. Whatever you've got to hand, we make it work. So what I'm using for my new altar is actually the set of drawers in our new bedroom, and I'm going to put it on the top. So this one's going to be completely for me standing, which is going to be a nice change because I was used to getting on the floor and kneeling, whereas this one I can stand and I can sort of be present. So I think that's a nice change for my altar moving forward. And so something you might be wondering is, can I change my altar? And the answer to that is absolutely. If you don't feel like something is working for you, if you don't feel like the energy is right, or you feel like you want to get some new energy into your altar, by all means you can change it around. It's your space, it's your thing. You make it as you want to. And then Wiccans typically add to their altar or change them around a little bit for each Sabbath as well. So for example, over Samhain you might choose to have dried oranges around there, autumn leaves, anything that is a symbol for that time of the year. You will incorporate into your altar, and you'll be shifting things around for that anyway. So don't worry too much about it being perfect, that you have to have everything in a certain position or way to be classed as a Wiccan. You definitely do not. You're free to experiment and move things around to what's right for you. If you have your altar set up for a week and you feel like this just isn't right, then you can change that. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to be, you're not locked into anything. If you don't feel like it's working, if you don't feel like that feels right, then don't worry. Just change it around and you'll get there and find something that works for yourself and your practice. So, key components of a Wiccan altar. These are just going to be things that are ideas for you to include. You don't have to have every single one of these things if you don't feel like they are valid, or if you don't feel like they resonate with you. That's absolutely fine. These are just ideas for some things that you can include and things that you can put on your altar if you want to. I think that it's a good idea to always have a representation of the god and goddess, however that might look to you. So I, on my altar, will have a candle that represents the goddess and a candle that represents the god, and I feel like this is a good practice, so I would recommend that you just have a candle on your altar, whether that is for a representation for both or representation of the deity that you worship. You can also have items that specifically relate and correspond to the god and the goddess. So again, you can visit my video that I created all about the god and goddess, which explains some of the correspondences, or each deity has its own certain correspondences, so maybe you incorporate things that are just related specifically to that deity. Your book of shadows or your grimoire might be included on your altar. I always like to have mine to hand, so I do put mine on my altar myself. Your wand. Now, because I'm moving house, my wand is still at my parents' house, so it's not going to be included on my altar just yet, but I am going to put it on there as well. Crystals that you feel like you connect with specifically, or the crystals, the energy you want to bring to your altar as well. Your cauldron. I almost forgot this one, but like this is one of the most important things, especially if you are a practicing witch or Wiccan. Having your cauldron on your altar is going to allow you to do your craft specifically from your altar. And a thame. So an thame is a specific sacrificial knife. We don't actually use it for actual sacrifices. It is all about representation. I don't have one. I will potentially get one in the future, but I don't have one and I don't feel like it's necessary in my craft right this moment, so I'm not going to stress too much about not having one. And the same for you about any of these. If you don't have them, or if you just have the basics, then that's absolutely fine. Everyone starts somewhere and you can build up to it. It doesn't have to have all of the things on there. An incense burner, tarot cards you might choose to include on your altar, either the cards themselves or your decks, a pentacle, whether that is been made by yourself, whether that is in the cloth that you use, anything like that, a bowl of salt or water to represent the elements, and you might choose to have other things that represent the elements as well, an offering bowl, or a chalice or a cup. So there are many different items that you can include, and you'll see when I'm setting up my altar that I also have other items that mean something to me that I want to include onto my altar as well. So this is just to give you an idea of what you can have. Again, I just want to really stress that you don't have to worry if things aren't perfect, if things aren't in a certain way. It doesn't have to be like that before you start your craft, so don't put too much pressure on everything being perfect or Instagrammable, or as books say you should have them to be able to start. That is not the case at all. The only real rule I have when it comes to my altar is I like to separate my god and my goddess space. So I feel like it's very important for me within my craft to do that, because I feel like the god and the goddess deserve their own space, they deserve their own place on the altar to be worshipped. And in most altars, the goddess will be on the left hand side and the god will be on the right hand side, and I like to stay true to that. If that doesn't work for you, that's fine, that is just my own personal preference, but that is what I will be doing. So that's kind of everything that I wanted to touch base on in terms of altars. I remember when I first started and first got into Wicca, and I was really stressed and I really had in my head that I couldn't have an altar because it didn't have all of the things that I needed. I didn't know the proper setup and the way that it should be, and it's not until later where I've started to change my altar around and have it looking different or certain ways that I'm like, it's more about how you connect with your altar and feel about it than the actual you have to have it this way before you can start. That's not the case. You are free to create as you wish. especially within Wicca, so don't feel bogged down about it or stressed. Just begin, move things around, see how it feels. See how it feels to have an altar, whether that is on a side table, whether it's on the floor, whether it's on a desk, whether you have a massive, gorgeous table, whether it's spread across the room. It doesn't matter. Whether you have a shelf, it does not matter. Whatever that altar is to you, it's yours. It's your special place where you can connect with your God and Goddess, you can connect with your spiritual path. So make it your own and make it a space that you can feel good and positive in. With all that being said, let's hop over to the bedroom and start setting up my altar, and I will run you guys through exactly what I'm planning on doing or exactly what I'm going to do. I don't really have it planned out too much, so we're just going to go and see how I feel in the moment and just experiment a little bit as well. Okay, so this is the space I have for my altar. As you can see, it's a little bit cluttered, so I'm just going to remove these things. These two gorgeous things are what my sister got me for Christmas. It is a full moon calendar and a notebook, so I'm planning on having this somewhere here, maybe stuck on the wall. I think that will look really pretty. Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to do with the plant. I might have him in the windowsill. I've not decided yet because I like him in this area. So first thing I'm going to put down is this lace cloth. I think it would look really nice on my altar top. So I'm just going to spread that across. I am just pushing it down the back because I do want us to be able to get to our drawers still. And then I'm just going to start setting up with what I've got. So this is the candle that I have to represent the god. I went for this deep purple colour. A lot of the god candles are represented by black. And then for my goddess candle, I have this very soft blush pink Yankee candle as well. It smells amazing. And usually the goddess candle is represented by white. But for me, I prefer these colours. So my mum actually made me this. It is a fairy jar. I think it's really pretty and it's got a candle in there. So I'm just going to put this on my altar for now, but I don't know whether I want it to stay. We will see. So this is a little keepsake I have from my old dog Shay. It's got a piece of his fur in and I really like to put this on my altar. It makes me feel like I'm connecting with him. And then I also have this offering dish. I really love the colours in this. I got it from a charity shop, but I just thought the colours were so fun. This is a representation of the goddess that I made, and yeah, I made it myself. We've got this crystal amethyst at the top and then she's in purple. I have this, it's like a runner and it's got the moon phases on it. I use it a lot for my tarot cards. I have an incense burner, cinnamon sticks because I like these as a correspondence for the god and I love cinnamon. We have my cauldron. I have these two glass cups. I have my crystals. I have this lovely engraved piece of wood with a doe on it. I got this for Christmas from my very good friend. I have another incense burner. I have this sun magnet. My book of shadows. This little pin badge with like flowers on it. A lighter and another crystal. What I think I want to do is have my tarot cards and my rune stones on my altar. So let's see. So guys, that is how I've set up my altar. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video and you have found it useful. If you did, please do give me a big thumbs up and hit subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a fantastic week. Bye!